We're live right now. I think we're live. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're rejoicing and we're glad in it. If you're joining me live, it's a beautiful Monday, a Millionaire Monday here in the Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today, I really want to talk more about a conversation I've had for the past few live shows that we hosted within the last week or so. And this conversation has been about the 8 keys to building an empire. First of all, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, you are living in one of the greatest moments in history for entrepreneurs, especially if you're committed, if you're creative, if you're courageous enough to take massive action. You, like me and many other people, will experience an extraordinary explosion of growth, opportunities, and hopefully financial abundance within the next couple years. So a lot of what I've been talking about for the past few months has really been, it's really been directed towards what seems to be the trend for the next few years, okay? And my conversations are all centered around the business structure that you select, the type of products and services that you offer, how you package and price those products and services, how you integrate the right systems and processes. That's what my main conversation is about. So if you don't know who I am, I'm a business and real estate consultant, coach, and teacher. So this is what I do for a living every day. I help entrepreneurs and small business owners start their business entities, whether it's holding companies, subsidiaries, or both. I help entrepreneurs and small business owners with the integration of the right systems and processes for their sales, their marketing, their financials, their administrative operations. And I do the same in real estate. Now, of course, I'm a real estate investor. I am a active business owner. So everything that I talk about on this show or on social media, period, are things that I live, things that I do on a day-to-day basis, and things that work for me. If it's something that's not working for me, I'm probably not going to talk about it. So today, if you're joining the show live on this Monday, June the 17th, I would love if you could put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. I would love to know where you're watching the show from. City, state, country, I don't know, you might be on Mars. Let me know what planet you're on. But today, I want to continue to have this discussion about the 8 keys to building an empire. So what I did in one of our first conversations was I gave you all 8 keys so that you can understand what does it take to build a business empire. Now, for me, I have built a 7-figure business, which I probably wouldn't consider it an empire. I'll consider it an enterprise because at least I built a 7-figure enterprise. But for me, in order to build an empire, I think it needs to be $100 million empire. For you, maybe if you got $1 million business, that's considered an empire. So everybody has a different gauge, a different dollar amount, a different level that they want to get to. So when I use the word empire, keys to building an empire, I'm talking about keys to building an indestructible business organization that takes care of you, your family, your children, your children's children, hopefully for generations to come. And so each of these keys I'm breaking down so that you can understand how they play into this empire that you're building, which, by the way, it ain't going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over time. So the first key is your entity structure, how you structure your entity. Second key, your brand building. Third key, your tax strategies. Fourth key, your high ticket services. These are all the keys to building it that you need. Number 5, your systems and processes. Number 6, your asset accumulation. Number 7, your asset acquisitions. Number 8, asset management. So this is the 8 keys to building a business empire. Now, in my last live, I broke down the first 4 keys to give you a little more meat on the bone of how each of these keys work. So with the entity structure, I'm talking about you need to have a holding company, or you should have a holding company, so that your holding company or your parent company can become the umbrella to all the other activities and business operations that you build under it. You should have divisions. There are going to be some operational departments under that holding company, inside of that holding company. Sometimes you can look at divisions as aisles in a store. So for example, if you walk into Publix, if you walk into Walmart, if you walk into Target, you walk into one door, it's one store, but inside that store you have aisles. And depending on what product, what service, what business activity you engage with Target in, that determines where you go in the store, if that makes sense. So a lot of times when you have your holding company, you can create divisions that way. You also have subsidiaries. This would be considered businesses that are wholly owned by your holding company. Of course, with the exception if you have partnerships or if you just own ownership interests in other business entities that you don't wholly own, you just have 10% ownership interest or 20%. But this is the entity structure. Again, it really doesn't matter what type of business you do, whether it's a product that you sell or a service you provide, from selling hoodies to shining shoes. I would still recommend you create this entity structure because it's going to give you more leverage. There's so many benefits that come with the concept behind having a holding company, having divisions, and having subsidiaries. That's key number 1 if you want to build an empire. If you want to just be a mom and pop, and I say this respectfully, if you just want to be a small business owner, if you just want to be self-employed, then this is not going to apply to you. But if you really want to take a business operation and organization to the next level, you need to have that entity structure down pat. Number 2, your brand building. Now, this is something that I still work on. I don't think you ever get to a point where you've built a brand that you don't have to continue to build on and expand. I mean, that's one of the reasons why, as I always say, Coca-Cola still run ads. Almost everybody on the planet knows about Coca-Cola, but they still run ads because they're still building a brand. So your brand building is about you telling people who you are. Hopefully, if you set your entity structure up right, you can use your entity structure to stand on to give your brand a lift. A lot of people do this extremely well. Elon Musk does it well. Jeff Bezos does it well. Warren Buffett does it well. Bill Gates, the biggest titans on the planet, they do this well. And guess what? You need to do it well. Also in your brand building, you not only want people to know who you are, you want people to see the value that you bring. What type of value that you bring. Now, I'm talking about this stuff. Think about it. Okay, but I told you earlier, I'm a business and real estate consultant, a coach and a trainer. So what does that mean? Does that mean I could consult you? Does that mean I could coach you? I could educate you on how to put a business together, how to make it make sense so that you can start making some money? Well, if that's the case, I'm giving you information right now to show you that I could be valuable. I could be a valuable member on your team if I was working with you. Your brand building also is about execution and action. Action, meaning that if you know who you are, if you know the value that you bring as a small business owner, it is your responsibility to keep showing up, executing, taking action until people start responding. Nobody owes you and I a response. That's one of the reasons why I'm never offended because people don't pay attention to me. I'm never offended because people are not responding to me. Now, I'm not going to accept that, because I want people to pay attention to me. I want people to respond to me. I want people to do business with me. But I can't put that responsibility on them. I got to put that responsibility on me. What am I doing as a brand that's not coming across as valuable? And I got to keep tweaking it and figuring it out. But I'm not going to tweak it and figure it out if I'm not executing and taking action. So guess what? I'm here on a live show on a Monday afternoon when I got a lot of work to do. But guess what? That's not as important as building my brand. Because if I don't build a brand, if I don't get attention, if I don't bring value to the marketplace, then I'm not going to have work to do as a business owner. And that's just the truth. So that's the second key to building an empire, building a brand. Number 3, tax strategies. I promise you this. If you start making more money than you expected to make, especially as an entrepreneur, even as a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor, one of the first problems you're going to run into is taxes. It's always a problem. Your biggest expense is taxes because you're going to be taxed. But when you're building an empire, you have to learn the tax strategies that help minimize your taxes and maximize your profits and give you that wiggle room, that spread to continue building your business. So for me, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, okay? 20 years I've been an entrepreneur. Most of those 20 years, I could say for 15 of those 20 years, I was just an entrepreneur, solo dolo, scrapping it out, trying to make it work, trying to figure it out, throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping some of it stuck, I was just doing what I had to do with grit, with determination, with resilience. Most of the times what I was doing wasn't working enough for me to build something sustainable. The last 5 years, I started honing in on really how to build an empire like I'm talking about and how to maximize it and make it make sense. But one of the keys to my growth and expansion, in which I'm still doing today, it's still something that I have to do, is taking the revenue that I make and reinvesting it back into my business so that I'm not netting a whole lot of profit to pay taxes on. I don't want to net a whole lot of profit. I want to take that money and reinvest it back into my business, reallocate it into non-taxable events that give me that spread, that leverage, and that wiggle room. So you have to learn tax strategies. The 4th key to building an empire is developing high-ticket sales, high-ticket services, okay, high-ticket items. So not to complicate it, what I mean by this is you could be selling a product like hoodies, and I use simple products and services so you can make sense of it. You could be selling hoodies as products, or you could be shining shoes as a service. Something as easy and simple as those 2 types of business models, and you still should have high-ticket services for those 2 different businesses. So you want some type of coaching, consulting, and education for that. Why should I want that? Well, if I have a hoodie business and I sell hoodies, you don't think nobody else want to sell hoodies? You don't think I can't show people how to start a hoodie business? You don't think I can't coach entrepreneurs who want to be in the hoodie business? There are a lot of things I can provide with the information I have based on selling a hoodie or shining shoes. So you want to start developing your intellectual assets and turning those intellectual assets into consulting services for that business that you do, coaching programs for that business that you do, courses and educational content for that business that you do. Now, I'm not saying you need to think about teaching something that you don't necessarily do, because you can make money just teaching, but you want validation. You want a proof of concept. You want to show people that this is something you can actually do. Okay? So high ticket sales, that's the fourth key. Let's get into the fifth through the eighth key. So the fifth key is systems and processes. This is the key. Why? Because you need some type of operational system that works for all these multiple businesses and business activities that you have. All right. So when I think of systems and processes, here's what comes to my mind. Systems are platforms that house information. Okay. So I have to market my business, right? So I need a system for marketing. Processes are measurable steps that you take, actions that you take in order to measure the results. So that means if I'm marketing, I need systems. I need a platform for my marketing because I need to track the activities, but I also need processes. I need to know how to market. And again, I promise you this, I learn some of this stuff every day, especially when it comes to a lot of these activities that just never stop. You always have to figure out a better way. It's a better mousetrap to catch it, right? So my marketing, I need systems and processes. My sales, my financials, my administrative activities, all of these things I need to be able to put together in what is called like a GOS, like a general operating system. So that means I need my business to feel like it's one big system, but it's really made up of a lot of little systems that I've figured out how to bring together to create this general operating system. So when I look at my general operating system, I can see the data from sales, marketing, financials, administrative, executive activities, and I can better determine what's working, what's not working, what needs to be fixed, what doesn't need to be fixed, what's giving me results, what's not giving me results. This is where you start gathering things like your KPIs, your key performance indicators. So systems and processes are important. And I'm telling you, I'm just talking about a 7-figure enterprise. Imagine when you want to get to 8 figures and 9 figures and 10 figures, it's a whole nother level. But most entrepreneurs will never get past making $50,000 a year, $30,000, $40,000 a year if they don't understand the fundamentals of the keys that I'm talking about. So again, I want to see everybody make a whole lot of money. I want to make a whole lot of money, but I got to get started somewhere so I can at least start seeing enough momentum that I can, pay the bills today and have a little wiggle room to start planting seeds into tomorrow. Most entrepreneurs, and we're talking about 90% of small business owners and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, they never even get to a point to where they can pay the bills today. And I know because, as I said, if I just look at the last 21 years of my life as an entrepreneur full-time, 16 of those years, I just need to pay the bills. It's only been the last 5 that I started building something that, okay, I got a little money here to pay bills, and then I can start planting some financial revenue seeds into the future to create a spread. But systems and processes help that, okay? Then these last 3, I hope what I'm sharing with y'all makes sense. If you have any questions, put the questions in the comments. If what I'm saying makes sense to you, I would love to get some feedback. But these last 3, I mean, this is where everything changes. And to be honest with you, even though the first 5, like once you get the entity structure right, okay, you got that. All you do is just build on that. Once you get the brand building, at least clear on who you are and who you want the world to know you to be and the value that you have personally, and you start building that into your business, now you could just build on that, right? Tax strategies, these are all things that are going to continue to evolve. And then when you get to your systems and processes, that's going to continue. Like each one of those keys, it's going to be different for you when you're making $1,000 a month. It's going to be different for you when you're making $5,000 a month. It's going to be different for you when you're making $10,000 a month. It's going to be different for you when you're making $100,000 a month. Each stage is going to be different. When I get to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, I'll tell you how it feels. I can't tell you that right now, but I will tell you once I get there. But either way, I know at every level, all these keys have to evolve with you. They have to change. They become more sophisticated because you don't want to glitch, okay? But when you get to these right here, asset accumulation, asset acquisition, asset management, this is what I'm learning to become extremely good at. I would even venture out to say I'm learning to master these three, because this is where your ability to like scale your business and get into that 8-9 figure range, that's where it starts changing for a lot of people. At least in a lot of people that I've studied, a lot of major businesses that I've studied, it is because they've had infrastructures that were built not just with the first 5, but they were built with these 3 keys in mind, and it gave them that bandwidth to just like, boom, explode and grow. So asset accumulation, I'm differentiating asset accumulation from asset acquisitions. One reason is because when I think of accumulation, I'm first and foremost thinking about the assets that you as a solopreneur, as an individual, as a small business owner, it could just be you. There are assets that you have at your disposal, you have access to that you don't see as assets. They don't look like assets. For example, let's say if your business only has a couple $100 in the bank account, but then you have a savings account with $50,000 in it, or a retirement account with $50,000 in it, or you got stocks or whatever, or you got equipment at home, or 2 cars that's paid off and they worth 20 grand. I'm just saying, all of those different things that I just mentioned are assets that you see as personal assets, but your business is broke. Your business is struggling. But if you knew the things that a business owner knows and understood these types of keys, and you had the confidence and the courage to bet on yourself through your business, you would probably be using and leveraging those personal assets differently to give your business the ability to get further quicker. It's almost like going to Vegas and knowing that you getting ready to win, and somebody else, they don't know if they're going to win, but you know it, right? And you put all your chips on the table because you know I'm finna win. Most likely what you going to do, you're going to have everybody else chip in because you like, I know I'm going to win this hand. If you don't know it, you ain't betting on it. So you got to have that confidence and that courage in your business and the competence to know that what I'm doing, I'm going to bet on. I'm going to bet on me and I'm going to bet on my business. When that happens, you start accumulating assets. So some of these assets could be copyrights, intellectual property. It could be cash. It could be transferring assets from your personal life into your business. Like I've had to do this and I've done it and I continue to do it. Like personally, I don't even want anything personally. I don't even want the personal assets or the personal cash or the personal value. I would prefer to take all that and give it to my business because My business needs to accumulate as many assets as possible so it can continue to have that purchasing power, that bandwidth, and that ability to make power moves when we see another opportunity. So asset accumulation is critical. And I actually have courses and I even host a workshop teaching the different assets that you can accumulate. I have like 2 pages of assets that we talk about: trademarks, ownership interests in businesses, digital currency, stocks, bonds, equipment, royalties, technology, inventory, real estate, leases. It could be contracts. So many different things that you can use as assets to accumulate. Because why do I want to accumulate these assets? Because I want to give my business the at back. You know, my business needs to take a swing, and I want my business to have an accumulation of assets that gives it that ability. Now, once I start this process, asset acquisitions becomes a part of my strategy. And I differentiate accumulation from acquisition because accumulation can be inside. This could be things that I control the narrative of, right? So I have trademarks. I have several trademarks within my company, things that I've trademarked. Well, I use those trademarks. I've got copyrights. I've got intellectual property. I use those as assets for my business by licensing certain information we have, by providing certain digital products and services because of the assets that I have, which helps me to monetize. I can monetize those assets. That's within. The acquisition part comes when I start acquiring assets and bringing them into my ecosystem, whether it's some of the same that I've accumulated, but it can also be things that I acquire. Like you could acquire anything. As I mentioned at the beginning of today's show, the next couple of years, it won't be hard to acquire new businesses. It won't be hard to acquire, of course, real estate or equipment or inventory or copyrights or trademarks or assets from other companies. But the acquisition play I think it's going to be one of the biggest plays in the next couple years. I believe it. I know my mentors believe it. People that I've surrounded myself with believe it. And everybody in my world seems to be, or the worlds that I get around, they seem to be preparing for it. And I'm sharing this with my community that you need to be preparing for it too. And preparing for it means you need to be clear on those keys to build that infrastructure, to have the bandwidth and the ability to acquire business when you're offered the opportunity, or to acquire assets when the opportunity presents itself. And then we have, last but not least, the key number 8, asset management. Now I've got to manage all of these different assets. But if you notice, if you just notice, even when we talk about managing the assets, that's the last and final key, right? But this is why the whole structure is so important, because here you are at the top of the mountain. You have your holding company, LLC. You have certain operational divisions, maybe inside of your holding company. Then you have subsidiaries. And then you just start building this world out. This world may have some divisions. You may have subsidiaries. Like, you just start building this whole world out, and you look up and it's like you got assets throughout each of these entities. And this is how you build an empire. So it's like engineering something that you don't have yet, but you know what direction you're going in, okay? Now, some people don't want to put the chariot before the horse. I'm one of those entrepreneurs, and I think I have that engineering mentality where I want to be able to understand this whole thing, even when I'm over here just trying to make a couple dollars on a sale. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm just trying to make some money today. I just need to make enough money to get by today. But I'm more motivated to make $1 today, to live, to survive, to get through the day when I see the bigger picture, because I know everything that I'm doing here, getting rejected, getting doors closed on me, getting told no, getting ignored, not being able to get the opportunity, like everything that I go through here, I'm battling every day. I'm battling. I'm being beat. I'm beating people up, but I'm getting beat up. I'm hitting walls and walls are hitting me back. You know what I mean? Like you're going through all this, but you're going through it. And the incentive you have is keep pushing and pressing, keep growing as a person, keep trying to figure it out, working towards it, because you know you've got an empire that you're building. And I promise you, everything that I'm sharing with you, again, if you make more than 7 figures, you got to show me some stuff. All right? I ain't there yet. Give me a couple more years and we'll be talking 8, 9 figures. Then I'll be flexing. But if you haven't figured out how to engineer a business, an enterprise to get to 6 or 7 figures, what I'm saying to you is going to be critical, because it's foundational for you to ever start branching out into those things. Otherwise, you might have a lot of ideas, a lot of concepts that's in your mind. You might have a lot of things that you've heard and learned, but you're not executing it because you don't have the confidence and the courage. So hopefully today's show enlightened you, gave you some value on how to build an empire. Of course, if there's more information that you need from us, we have courses on every key that I just shared with you. We've got courses, we've got workshops, we provide coaching, mentorship, and consulting services for across the board. Whether you are an individual, you're already in business and looking to grow your business, this is what we do every day. In the meantime, even if buying a course or paying for coaching and mentorship or being consulted is not on your agenda today, we have an opportunity for you to get access to our free business assessment workbook. This is a workbook that's made up of 17 pages highlighting the 5-step process that we use in our consulting and coaching. So it gives you a glimpse into how does he consult and coach people? Like, what does he take people through if they pay to sit down with him? This workbook helps you to understand that. We have 5 steps that we walk you through. You can get access to this. It's a free workbook. And once you download the workbook, the link is in the description unless you're on IG. If you're watching from IG, that means you're going to have to go to our bio. There's a link tree in the bio. You can click on the free business assessment workbook. If you're watching on any other platform, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, or whatever, through our streaming, you can click the link in the description, get instant access to our business assessment workbook. Again, when you walk through each of those pages in that workbook, it gives you a digital simulation of what it would feel like if you paid me as a consultant or coach to sit down to help you with your business. We're gonna assess your business. We're gonna look at your goals, your financial projections. We're gonna look at your products, your services, your prices, your packaging. We're gonna look at your systems, your processes, your entity structure. We're gonna look at how you market it, how you're selling it. We'll look at all of that. And then once we do that with an in-person coaching or consulting session, we typically direct you to courses that we have that will help educate you on that thing. And we have workshops to deep dive into those areas that you're learning and you're working on. But for now, you get free access to the business assessment workbook. Once you click the link and download it for free and access it, you could start going through it. We have also inside of that offer, we have some walkthrough videos where I'm walking you through each of those steps to give you a better understanding of how that workbook should be used and what you need to be doing to answer those questions to give you and your business a self-assessment. If for some reason you have any questions when you're going through the workbook, you can always reach out to us for a complimentary strategy call, absolutely free. You could text the word strategy to one of these numbers, screenshot the number. You could text the word strategy to one of those numbers, and my team and I will reach back out to you. We'll schedule a strategy call. If the time is right when we reach back out to you, we'll conduct a strategy call, answer any questions you have. We want to help you get to the next level. All right. Thank you all for joining the show today. Really, really appreciate you for taking the time to stick with me. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments or just reach out to us. Text strategy. When you text the word strategy, you're letting my team know you watch one of the shows and you either have a question from the workbook or maybe you just have a question about business, holding companies, tax strategies, whatever it is that we talked about today. Appreciate you all. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Peace. Have an amazing rest of this million.